Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Otakuology podcast. I'm your host, Otaku Mike. With me, as always, is Jin. He might have Teleka, what you may call it, Graves. And today we're talking about issues 3 and 4 of TMNT Stranger Things. I almost said issues 1 and 2 because of the whole stress I've been having today. People don't know this, but I've been trying to upload our previous episode to our podcast feed to reschedule it, and it's been a whole trying
It's been
time.
an ordeal.
It glitched out on me so bad. I was getting to the point where it's like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to upload this. What's going on? Why is it doing this? What's going on, Spotify?
Then it was going to be double feature.
Which I think I had this problem with Spotify before, because we use the Spotify for creators for our hosting. So I don't know if it was some weird glitch or what it was, but man, it sucked. It sucked.
I can understand that.
It sucked. It was kind of grinding my gears a little bit, but we got a good episode for you guys today. I have to say, because
don't we always have a good episode for them every day?
I like to think so, but I don't know if some people think it was
stinkers. You like to think that we're just so good that every new episode we do is always better than the last one we did.
I will say our White Sky episode has brought in, I think, a couple of new listeners.
Hell yeah!
So I think that's pretty good. That's had a lot of interaction on it. So if you like the stuff that we create, make sure to like and subscribe to, our YouTube channel, our podcast, stuff we do. If you want to give us some suggestions, that would be cool too. But this one was not suggested to anybody but me and Jen. I suggested to Jen, and he was like, "Okay, let's do this."
This wasn't suggested to me at all. It was suggested to Jen. It was me. I suggested it to Jen.
You like the leaps and logic that went through in my head?
I was like, where are we going with this? And then you just kept going, and I was like, oh no, he's sinking fast.
I mean, with the day I had, yeah, I'm sinking pretty fast, okay?
Yeah. That's okay. But yeah, we do have a good one for you guys as we get back into TMNT X Stranger Things.
Why do you think they put the X in there?
Honestly, I think we put the X in there.
No, the X is a part of the title. If you look on the comics, it's a part of the title. And I looked online, and the X is in there too.
It's not on the cover though.
I know it's not on the cover, but it's on my cover.
This just says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line Stranger Things.
Yeah, I wonder if the X was supposed to be a dash. I don't know.
No, I think X usually means in other things that I've seen it on is that it's when you don't want to say and it's not part of your property. You just say it's the X is almost more so it's a crossover kind of thing, but it's not a property of yours.
I want to talk about something real fast, which I noticed. So I have the 4-issue miniseries in single issues. Jin has the trade paperback, and I have all B covers for my issues, and I picked up issue 3 and issue 4. Issue 3 has Donatello working with, I think, Dustin and Lucas. And he's working, and he's in the turtle van or something. April is driving the turtle van, but it's not the April that's depicted in this issue. It's the 80s April from the cartoon show.
Okay.
And the Technodromes in front of them, which those do not even appear in this episode or this issue.
Yeah.
And then we get to the 4th issue where the Shredder is on the cover, and the Shredder does not appear in this comic book.
No. Is it Shredder with Dustin and 11 and Michelangelo
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
standing in the upside down.
yeah, yeah. It's that one. Which is a cool.
I have
It's cool.
I have that as a suggested art cover
Oh,
in
okay.
the back of my book.
Okay.
But other
Yes,
than that,
because they put out so many variant alternative covers for this book.
yeah.
There are a bunch.
No. My split up for that section after like that page that we were talking about where it's
Hmm.
the boys holding the swords and
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
is I have the one where it's looks like older 11 with Donatello standing back to back.
Okay.
And then on the flip side of that, it's Raphael with all the kids, and he's standing on the Demomousers,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
stabbing him.
There's one I think I might want to try to track down, but the variant covers are so expensive. So
Yeah,
each one is a variant of the kids and one of the turtles, and they're playing Dungeons and Dragons,
yeah,
which
I can see that.
I thought was pretty
Um,
cool.
hold on, let me scroll back to the back again. I say scroll. I'm just turning pages.
Let me turn to the back again. It's okay.
Yeah, there's Donatello with Will.
Yeah.
There's a Dustin and Michelangelo.
I want to say, is it Raphael and Lucas?
It's Leonardo, Lucas, and it looks like 11, but I'm going to say that's probably Max.
Okay.
And then that may be it. Oh,
Okay.
no, here's one. It's Mike and I don't know who the fuck that is. Raphael, but he looks happy, like he's smiling. The other thing that trips me up in all the art of this is we're reading this and none of these turtles have are all wearing red masks, and it's throwing me off even worse.
Oh, in the covers.
Yeah, the covers. I'm like, you sons of bitches.
Yeah, no, it throws me off too.
The other
Especially,
thing that throws me off is it. There's one of. Is there an item in their hand? There's not an item. I don't know what turtle it is, but it's a thing of Steve and what's her face, Robin at Scoops Ahoy,
oh yeah.
and they're sitting there, and one of the turtles is holding a dish of ice cream, like a banana split.
Yeah.
And then the alternate cover is the same thing going on, but like in a tent, and instead of the ice cream being there, it looks like D'Artagnan.
But you want to get into this first issue 3.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it with the big
Uh,
fallout of what
so
happened.
we hop into which again I don't know how this happened. Where Donatello is kind of underneath the computer monitor system trying to
Yeah.
reconfigure it, and Dustin is reading uh, the I forgot what this was called.
It's like the code or something that's going
Yeah,
through the
yeah. I
machine.
was just thinking about it, and then I had shit. What is his name?
Stockman?
Not Stockman from season 2 that died.
Bob?
Bob.
Oh,
I
do
just had
you
the
speak code?
yeah, I just had that pop in my head. Dustin sings code.
Which it was just all ones and zeros.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, how is Dustin keeping up with this already? Like, I
Yeah.
guess he does understand that. But I assume that they have Raphael strapped to the chair,
Yeah, he is.
and he is actually in the Mind Palace with Eleven and Stockman, trying to defend her and kind of like let her know, like, she doesn't have to really worry about Stockman too awful much because moving forward a little bit, Stockman says, "Oh well, I basically control the world that you guys are in your brain," and Raphael goes, "Well, our masters of our own minds, so that doesn't that mean that we control what the world's going to be?"
Yeah, it's a pretty cool scene, and like Stockman kind of gets one up on him a little bit and
Yeah,
puts Raphael in Eleven's like sort of memories in this world of her being dragged away in the facility, and then 11 gets put as I think Master Splinter and finds the baby turtles.
No, Master Splinter's in the back,
Is he in
but
the
they're
back?
seeing each other. Yeah, right there. You see him?
Okay, I don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry.
Oh, they're looking at each other's like starting scenes though of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And Raph is like, you were from this facility, and like, this is where you're come from. Like, what if you weren't born with these powers? He tells 11 at this point, like, you weren't born with these powers. Like, they gave you these powers, and like, we get this whole scene of like almost like Raphael giving her like a pep talk,
Yeah,
almost of like saying like, this doesn't define you as a person, basically.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's a pretty cool scene, I have to say. Like,
yeah.
I really liked it. It was a very very powerful emotional scene, I would say, with between him and 11.
Although I'll say this one part that's got both of them together. Stockman does kind of give me the creeps about it
Oh yeah.
because one of the things that he says is "no choice, no voice,"
Yeah.
and you're like,
Mm,
that sounds like a certain kind of
that sounds a
mentality.
little grapey, just saying.
Yeah, yeah. And then, of course, he goes over to the other side where Eleven's looking at the turtles, and he says he's talking about the turtles basically being an accident, a big freakish mistake.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy the way that he's trying to like get in their heads by playing this weird mental game,
Yeah.
and Raph's like, "We're not doing this." Like,
I like it that Raphael just has him in like a one-handed chokehold.
yeah,
He's like has him up in the air and he's choking him. I just like that scene. I thought it was pretty fun. And
yeah,
they do get out of the mind palace, which is pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. 11 opens the mind palace and shoop.
Whoop, whoop. Which we end
Um,
up going to our other party, right?
yeah, we go back over to Mike and Lucas, where Lucas has the nunchucks and Mike has one of the katanas, and they are kind of like trying to defend off the Demogorgons as Will is looking around on the ground, which the chances of this really throw me off in this, but hey, it's a
Yeah,
comic,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. I know.
He's
I
on,
get what you're saying.
yeah, he's on the ground looking specifically for a lighter,
Yeah,
and he's wrapping some of like the vines or whatever around one of the swords so that it'll basically catch on fire because hey, that's what the Demogorgons are weak against.
yeah.
Um,
And they light the sword and the nunchuck on fire,
yeah, so
which
that they can whoop the shit out of the Demogorgons.
the logic is thrown out the window at this point, but it's a cool picture.
Well, the logic was thrown out for me whenever they went to do that, and the turtles were on the other side of the Demogorgons.
Yeah,
And then it's like one of them supposedly climbed out the window and walked back around to the front of where the thing was to get in there with the kids. Because I'm like, how in the world did you guys like get here out of nowhere?
yeah. No, but the scene's cool. They get a big double page spread of Mikey and Leo like just taking it to the Demogorgons with their fire weapons. I
Yes.
mean, it's pretty freaking cool. It's a very short scene, but I like it. I think it works very well in this. With what little
Yes.
fighting we actually get in this book, because
Yeah.
most of this issue
It's
is exposition.
it's it's really weird though. I will say, like, I like that they kind of did it, but I feel like there was a check sheet on this whenever they had stuff, and they were like, "Yeah, we need this to be shown in the book. We need this to be shown in the book. And we need this on the turtle side, and we need this on the
Yeah,
Stranger Things side." And like they had a check sheet, I feel like, of what all they wanted to like have introduced through part of
it
this.
it it very much felt like paint by numbers with fan service. I
I
would
agree.
say,
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. Like it's not terrible. It's not terrible. I would say, like, I still enjoyed it, but this is where the part of the book where I was kind of like, yeah, I'm starting to see like we're getting like the big
It's
turtles fight,
you're
and then
starting to
like
see the upside down.
yeah, the upside down of everything,
Yeah,
literally and figuratively.
yeah.
Which
Um, but they go through the gate that's in the subway car.
I like this scene where they go through the gate
Yeah.
and how it turns up. It kind of turns upside down, and they're in there, and they it turns right side up. I thought it was pretty cool.
Um,
It's in like one
I
panel.
don't I don't think it did that on mine.
It's in one panel. Like the turtles were upside down, and then in one panel, and they're right side up because they're going through, and like they flip back over. It's a very subtle little detail. Like
Yeah, I don't think I have that in mind unless it's farther in.
maybe.
Because I have where Stockman's talking to him again,
Yeah, yeah.
which I read through this part really fast, so I got that part of the comic mixed up with the other part.
Okay.
Where they find the little thing in the gut of the
Okay.
robot.
So yeah, we can talk about this. Stockman basically gives us the big old exposition dump about like how he ended up finding the Demogorgons. He found them like searching around New York City, and he was like, "I'm gonna use these and like create the Dema Mousers and like basically like use the Dema Mousers to sort of control the Demodogs in a
Yeah, because
sense."
he made them where they look like them, and he also made them where they had the howl
Yeah, yeah,
of being able to call them like they did from the other movies
that's
or
true.
from the
Yeah,
TV show.
and it was pretty interesting, and we get like the whole like, oh, why did you do this, and he's like, because I basically wanted to control these things, and I wanted to go to these other worlds and stuff, and he couldn't like open any portals, but he could send the demo mousers through these portals that were opened at
Yeah,
points, and we find out actually that Brenner and Stockman knew each other, and that's how he knew of 11, and that's why he wanted to get to 11, because 11 could open these portals, and he could like go to these worlds and perform more experiments and stuff on these
yeah, which
creatures.
seems like such a weird connection.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was a weird connection because it was like, yeah, we ran around in the same circles. It's okay. We might have
Yeah,
went to college together.
yeah. I mean, it just I don't know. It got like that part.
It,
I think it would be cool. The only problem, and I'll say this like now because I was gonna have to say it at the end anyway. I think that this would have been better if they could have given it a couple more issues to like go
yeah,
through some of that stuff. But the real big thing is like reading it, kind of like what you said a little bit ago. We are kind of on a time constraint of what we can accomplish and what we can't accomplish.
yeah,
And I think we're at the point where there's just so much stuff going on that you're not able to accomplish little things that would make the story great.
yeah. I really think what the flaw of this is, it could have used possibly like a fifth issue
Yeah.
because this is only 4 issues long.
Yeah. And to add to that too, I issue 1 and 2 seemed like they were really slow.
Yeah, they're really slow, and I feel like we're catching up after that in this issue, and
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
we're condensing everything into these last 2 issues, guys. Okay, guys, come on, let's get across the finish line at this point.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
it is a detriment to this book. I feel
Yeah.
like all the fan
Um
service in the world cannot save it.
I did make it to where you were talking about the turtles cutting their way through the thing and
Yeah,
it flipping upside down though. So I see what you're talking about. Um yeah, we did that. We go through the thing. They're talking about, hey, because what they wanted to do is go through to save some of the people that they knew were on the subway car.
yeah. It was like all the people in the
And
subway car went through the portal. I think it was right.
yet they get through it and they're all like laid out on the stairs.
Yeah, they're all dead.
Yeah. Which is crazy. And then I believe it's
Yeah,
Leonardo.
Leonardo starts digging through the bodies and he finds something that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is he finds?
Yeah, he finds a Krang.
He finds an Utrom.
Oh,
Yeah, Krang is one of the Utroms, but this is
he's the bad guy.
he's a
Krang
bad
is.
Utrom from the TV show. I don't think
Okay.
Krang exists in this world, but the Utroms are like basically the aliens of, or one of the aliens of the Turtles universe, and they are the ones who run the TCRI building because they get like stuck here in Turtles lore. They get stuck here for some reason, and they're trying to get back. And all of the stuff that they're using for their teleporters, like
Yeah.
all the stuff, all like the waste and stuff, ends up becoming the ooze that ends up mutating the turtles.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
kind of cool.
yeah. If I'm getting that right, I could be getting my mythology wrong with another turtle series. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Utroms, and that's how the turtles know the Utroms, because they end up actually finding out that in the TCRI building, there's Utroms, but they have like the bodies, the metal bodies, robot bodies, and they're controlled in the torso, which
Yeah.
leads them
Yeah.
to like the Battle Nexus tournament later on in the book, and a whole like new part of the Turtles world is opened up. It's pretty cool later on once you get to it, but that's beside the point. That's beside the point. This one is dying at this moment. And
Yeah.
he has like these like weird black veins all over him. And this part that I found really, really weird, Will just like burns the Utrum.
Oh yeah.
He
Yeah.
sets him on fire.
And then Leonardo goes after him, talking about, what are you doing? And Will's like, I just saved him
Yeah.
and all this other stuff. And it is really weird that Will kind of knows more than they do, and
Yeah.
like how they're like, oh, something being that way obviously isn't that bad.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, look at that black smoke. It's going off to the hive mind.
Yeah.
And they're
And they
like,
all know, they're like, it's the mind
it's the
flare.
mind flare. And we see the mind flare in the upside down trying to get to somewhere. We don't know where, but that's kind of how the book ends at this
Yeah.
point. Um, which
Okay. I think it's on the Empire State Building.
is it on the Empire State Building?
I think that's where
Okay,
it's at.
okay. So
Which
let me
I
ask.
love the next little cover that it gives me.
Uh huh.
Did you see it where it's like it's the fleshy one from like season 3 of the Mind Flayer, and it's Raphael or Leonardo standing in front of it with his swords
Yeah,
drawn.
I was actually gonna use that as our thumbnail for this episode.
Really, I love
Yeah,
that
because for
cover.
the first one, I used Raphael in the Demogorgon, like getting ready to fight each other. I think it
Yeah, yeah.
was. So yeah, I was gonna use that because it worked perfectly and fit in the thumbnail. I thought it was pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, what did you think of this issue?
Um, I liked it. I think this one honestly is better than the last one. I mean, I kind of hate to say that with it. The fourth one's supposed to be the ending, but I like this one more so because right at the end when we got the reveal of the Krang or
Mm-hmm.
the Utrons,
Mm-hmm.
um, because that was something that we'd never really touched on before
No.
in on the first two, and so because I mean it does kind of lead you to believe that Stockman is possibly going to be the main bad enemy in this, and you realize that Stockman, like he always is, just kind of like side villain B.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, the Utroms aren't bad in this.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the Mind Flare.
Right, right. But I mean, the reveal that there's Utroms in it as well that's there, and you're like, especially if you didn't expect it, like,
Yeah.
and I do like the fact of because we haven't gotten this yet in the Stranger Things world of there being aliens. So I thought, oh, that's really cool that they actually did add like a set of aliens in the world um, for Stranger Things, basically with the Ultron.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
pretty.
that was pretty funny.
it's a pretty fun thing, and they kind of have a fun little payoff later on at the end of this with the
Yeah.
Utrums.
Well, and
But
then
we
one of my favorite lines that we're going into in the next page is where they tell Dustin, "Hey, like there's aliens that are really here,"
yeah, he's like, what?
and he goes, "What? That sounds like they're cuddly ET kind of."
Yeah,
And you're like, "Is that a reference to ET right in the middle of this, comparing the Ultrams to that?"
yeah. I mean, it is a reference to ET.
Yeah,
It is. I mean, there's also another reference in this because we see Dustin trying to get a hold of Mike and Will and like the rest of them at this
yeah,
point, just using the radio waves to try to get
yeah,
them in the walkie-talkie. We get a reference to, I think it's like Officer Lawson,
yeah,
which Lawson is one of the main people to actually draw the turtles, other than Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman.
yeah.
That
That's cool.
that's like a little reference to him that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get this whole scene where they're trying to
Do you,
like
do you think they included ET in this because ET was never brought up in the actual show
probably,
as well?
probably.
Okay.
I think
I
it's
just
probably
thought
just a fun little
I just
reference.
thought that was kind of funny because like you and I were talking about how we've watched 2 seasons and there's never been a Ninja Turtle like action
Yeah,
figure or anything in it,
yeah,
and like so there's so much with having the crossover with the Ninja Turtles that you can go like, well, it kind of is canon that the Turtles now have been in Stranger Things, kind of, sort of.
yeah. I mean, the turtles are basically the whores of the comic book crossovers at this point.
Yeah,
They've crossed over with so many people, or franchises, I would say. Uh, but yeah, but I like this scene. I like this scene where they're basically trying to get Stockman to spill the beans because he was like, "I didn't open the rift." At this
yeah,
point, it wasn't me; it was the aliens, and they were like, "Oh my god, it's the aliens!" And that's what the Demogorgons were looking for, were the Utrams.
yeah,
Uh, and we see this Utram come to life basically again, and he starts to tell them like, we were trying to get off this planet. A lot of the Utrams left the planet already, and we were trying to get to our home world to use the extra dimensional portals and stuff, and we opened a rift, and the Mind Flare showed up, which the Mind
yeah,
Flare started to do bad things to the Utrams and kind of took them with him to the Upside
yeah.
Down.
Controlled them.
Yeah, he controlled them basically, and this Utram was looking for his partner, which I don't know if it's a partner in crime, a scientist partner, or like maybe like a romantic partner.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought it was. It's like lovers.
Yeah, maybe they're Utram lovers. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was kind of weird, but we get this like whole scene of them trying to explain this, and like I was like, it's a cool scene, and I like that the lore sort of gets twisted with like the Stranger Things lore, and they open up like this rift and stuff.
yeah.
And then we see, does it Dustin and them leaving to get in contact with April and Casey?
Yeah, they grab a hold of the little TV weird thingy for to call the Demodogs
Yeah,
to
they
him.
control them, right?
Yeah, and then April picks him up in the little van with Casey so that they can go fight.
I think it's funny that they're enamored with Casey and April.
Yeah,
They're like, they're so cool.
yeah, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy that they're acting that way, and it's kind of like, what?
My downside to this issue is I kind of wish April and Casey were kind of in this a little bit more.
Yeah,
But I get it that, there's too many cooks in the kitchen at this moment. So I don't feel
yeah,
like it would really work, but it's cool to see them. It's it's
yeah.
it's cool to see them.
Well, and then we have one of the little defining moments of part of this where they're talking about I believe it is the Empire State Building still, where they're talking about that there's an anomaly of the lights going on and off.
Yeah.
And I love how the kids are like, you know what that means? That's got to be the spot. Like that's
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
to be it.
They're in the somebody's in the upside down.
Yeah. And so then they kind of bring up how there are other lights on the strip that are going on and off. And then we do have the part where Dustin is kind of enamored. I feel like with Casey, like you were talking about, and they talk about the bats. Even though I'm
Yes.
kind of like,
Yes.
Dustin has never really used the bat. It was Steve. But
yeah. I love this. He's like, hey, can I borrow one of those?
yeah,
And he's like, they worked
yeah,
really well against the Demogorgons and stuff. And he's like, Casey's like, well, they kind of work well against everything.
yeah. Which is really cool. That being said, because that's one of like Casey's main weapons of choice.
Yeah, it's a baseball bat.
Yeah.
But no, it's a fun little thing to throw in there, I feel like. And then we kind of get the whole thing where like our teams are sort of converging together. One is on
we have where Donatello gives 11 the mask finally.
No,
about
that's Raphael.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, let's talk
about where
the scene.
About where he's like, I think you've earned this at this point. And I was like, Raph, you spent like a whole issue
like
telling her she wasn't going to be she wasn't going to be worthy of this and everything. And then now you just turn around and give it to her. Like, this is another reason why I feel like we need an extra issue in between this, because like it almost seems like Raphael's like, hey kid, yeah, you already been through a lot. Like, you and I going through this 5-minute, mind palace thing experience together, proves that you need this.
It brought us closer together. You're one of us. Which we get to this point, and like I'm like, okay, like the Ninja Turtle fan of me, I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of fun, but it doesn't amount to anything.
No.
Other than the fact that she puts it on and we see her and we get this really cool panel of like the people standing behind her, like her team standing behind her and stuff. But it looks like she's just playing dress up.
Yeah.
As a Ninja Turtle.
None of the other kids get one.
Yeah,
so.
none of the other kids get one, just 11. So we're just going to leave the rest of them out.
Yes. Yeah.
Which it reminded me of like the Ninja Turtle costumes from like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Where you had like the headband. I was expecting her to have like a shell and like a
fake
weapon.
Shell backpack.
Yeah, like a shell and a backpack thing, and but she didn't. She didn't have that. They didn't commit to the bit.
Yeah.
Which shame on them. Shame on them for doing that. But I do say I really like this scene coming up, where we have our two groups. One is in the upside down. One is in the right side up. I don't know what we would call that, but the right side up. And we see them where I hate it when they do this in comics, but it kind of works in this issue.
Yeah.
Where you get the double page spread, but you have to turn it on its side both ways.
Yeah, to read it, yeah.
Both perspectives. When I was done reading it, I was like, is my comic right side up? I don't know. Because I turned a page, and one was upside down and one was right side up.
Yeah.
So I had to look at the cover. It didn't help that the text on my cover was upside down.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's going on? But I thought it was kind of fun. So we see like a sort of like side view of them going up the building and stuff and traversing it on both ends. Dustin seems to have a little man crush on Casey for reasons we don't know. He's cheating on Steve, just saying. He's cheating on Steve. But our two teams converge. They come through the portal. They sort of fight the Mind Flayer, but really just fight like the Demogorgons.
Yeah, they do that, and I think that there's like one of the Demogorgons that's kind of holding the portal open a little bit.
Yeah.
They get all of the kids and the other Ultron back in and everything else on their side, and then Max, which they started calling her Mad Max again.
Yeah.
For just turning on the radio basically and scaring everything back into the portal
which I
into
didn't.
the upside
I
down.
must have missed that the first time I read this issue because I had no idea why Max was carrying around that radio thing until I reread it.
They picked it. Yeah, they picked it up from Stockman
Yeah,
because that's one of the things that controls the little guys.
until I reread it, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah,
The-
which
'cause- yeah,
it's really weird in this issue for issue 4 where um I really enjoyed the whole part with Will talking to the Ultrons and
Utrums,
doing stuff like the yeah
not the
um
Ultrons, the Utrums,
the
the
Ultrons
Ultra Utrums.
yeah, just because like it seems like we got more development out of Will's character in this
Yeah,
issue than we did out of all the other kids through the entire 4 issues.
yeah. No, it was pretty nice because like he was kind of comparing it, like oh, he's kind of homesick. He wants to go home, just like this Utrum wants to go home.
Yeah,
You know, it was a really nice little scene. I do have to agree with you on that.
yeah,
I wish we got more fighting with the Mind Flare.
yeah,
That was kind of a disappointment.
yeah. Well, we'll get there eventually, but we have all that stuff that happens. We have where they're on top of the building and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is a pretty good city." And we get through which the turtles bring up about how they live in the greatest city in the world, um, and all that. We kind of do that part and say our goodbyes, and then we get to the part where the kids have to explain everything to Mr. Clark.
Oh yes, which we
Uh,
forgot to say. They invited the turtles to Hawkins, Indiana,
they did, yeah, yeah.
which hopefully we get that in a second one. But I don't know if we'll get that.
No, I doubt it.
I doubt
I
it.
doubt we'll ever
But I
get that.
like this. I like this ending. It was because it was kind of funny.
Yeah,
Because
we're Midwesterners. Of course, we're gonna get lost on the subway
all
system.
all this shit happens. They were gonna go downtown to Times Square, but they can't. And they meet up with Mr. Clark, and they're like, he's like, okay, so explain this to me again. And they're like, yeah, so we got lost. There were a lot of people, and we took a wrong train or something. But now we're back because we used the buddy system. And he believes them. He believes them.
Yeah,
He's so gullible. He believes them.
yeah. And then we kind of make full circle where Max tells Dustin, like, hey, I do have to agree with you originally. I think the sewers were the coolest part of
Yeah.
our whole trip.
And then they just leave 11 in an
Yeah.
alleyway.
Yeah, I guess she's gonna go find a bus or something.
Yeah.
Um
Ugh.
but yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me get your thoughts on this issue in a whole, and let's talk about like what we thought of like the overall miniseries.
Series.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This one was scored really low for me.
It was. I will have to say it does score really low for me too. I feel like we said before, they crammed too much into these last 2 issues. I felt like
Yeah.
we needed like a 5th issue to just breathe and maybe have like a lot of the action in that issue.
Yeah. I mean, because this is what I'm going to base part of it off of. If I'm very excited that we got to the end where about the BS of what they got up to with Mr. Clark,
Yeah.
like, there's a problem. Like, that should be like an addendum to, oh my god, I enjoyed this and it was funny that happened. Not, no, that was my favorite part of this issue, was where they had to lie to him about this stuff.
I mean, it's kind of funny because they lied to him all the time in the TV show,
Yeah, yeah,
and he kind of just buys it.
yeah.
But I will have to say, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. I feel like overall, this miniseries, I did enjoy a good chunk of it, but
This is the entire thing, right?
yeah, the entire thing.
Okay.
I did enjoy a good chunk of it. I thought they captured the characters fairly well
Yeah.
in this. Like the 2 franchises melded very well, and it's very believable that they both lived in the same world.
Right.
I felt like it stumbled towards the end, and I really felt like I said this before. We were just shoving everything into one box.
Yeah.
We were shoving everything into one box, checking all those boxes, and like, okay, let's get this done. Let's get this done. I get it; it's for the fans, and if you're a Stranger Things fan or a TMNT fan or both, I don't know if it's 100% like it's a must read.
I agree.
Feel like if it's only a must read if you're possibly a die-hard fan.
I don't even think so then. I think it's enjoyable to kind of like ride that ride, but I mean honestly, this isn't going to be one of those comics ever again that I will pick up and go, "Oh my god, I feel like I should read this again."
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Like I mean I hate to say that because I feel like some comics when you get into them and you read them, like they're so good you're like, "Oh, I can't wait to get back into this and I can't wait to like figure out more and then come back and revisit it again and read through it again, you
Yeah.
know."
I
This one doesn't give me that feeling at all.
I think very much so. Once we're done with this episode, I'm gonna put it back into my turtle long box of turtle comics,
Yeah.
and I probably will never reread it again.
You're gonna put a little sticker on it on the plastic after you slide it into one of those and be like, "Never read again."
Never open up again.
Yeah. Um. No, I mean overall though, like I enjoyed the story that they could pull out. I just also think that they, like we've been saying, I don't think they had enough time to really have more stuff come out. And I mean, just from like what I have gotten to read from Ninja Turtles and some other stuff like that, um, they are kind of a little bit of a slow buildup to get through on how things are. And so with this, trying to do that at the beginning, I feel like the first two issues were trying to do that.
I
It was
will.
just it was just the last two were like, yes, we tried to do that in our first two, and we had, I don't know, 10 boxes on each side to check, and they were like, we've checked one on each side with the first two chapters. Now these last two we have 18 things to put into it.
I will.
So
I will say. I give them props for not using the Shredder in this miniseries.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think the Shredder very much is like overdone as a bad guy because he is in a bunch of these miniseries as the bad
right,
guy. And I thought they took a risk of just having Baxter Stockman.
yeah,
I know they kind of like get rid of him within like the third issue, but like I thought it was a pretty fun thing to have him be the big bad of sorts.
yeah, yeah,
Half big bad, I would say, because the Mind Flare is the other big bad.
yeah,
You know, I would have liked to seen more action in this. We don't really get a lot of action in these last two issues. Issue
yeah. Not
issue issue three was
not the two.
exposition heavy.
I mean, they would. I'm sure somebody would try and argue that with the whole left and right side of
Yeah,
the in the upside down part. And I mean, yeah, you can see them as they're running up through the thing, but that's also very confusing too because there's three levels, and some of them you see like one character where it may have been like Donatello and Dustin and they're doing something, and then you'll see the other characters on the center one, and then up above that you'd see Donatello and Dustin doing something again. That kind of, I feel like you could argue, yeah, they're running up the thing or whatever. That to me was a little confusing at times. And you could say, yeah, they did a two spread thing with that, but it wasn't that great.
yeah. I expected a little bit more action in this,
Yeah.
and it was a little bit of a letdown. Sad to say.
Yeah. I mean, and one of the other things that I was kind of really hoping for, especially when I saw Casey, was that Dustin was kind of going to bring up the baseball bat that Steve had, and Casey's like, "Oh, I have one like that," and pull out a baseball bat that had nails in it.
I mean, that would have been funny.
I was like, that would have been amazing.
Or him be like, "Oh man, that's a good idea, kid. Like, I should do that."
Yeah,
You know?
and then maybe having like a panel right at the end where Casey either jokes about it or actually like has a baseball bat and he has a box of nails where he's going to go do it. Like something like that would have been really fun to
So,
have had.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Since you've read the Turtles Stranger Things crossover,
Yeah.
would you consider reading the Naruto Turtles crossover?
Maybe later on.
Maybe later on.
I think I'm a Turtles comic out right now.
This one just did it for you. Hit you in the right spots.
I mean, just for a little while. We could come back to that later on. Just right now. I mean, but all these other things that are kind of like that, I will say that this one did make me skeptical. Like, I knew there were comics that were out there that were like, you know, this crossed over with this. Like, I knew that. And like we talked about, Ninja Turtles are kind of the horrors of the industry where they get crossed over with everybody. I understand that. But this one also just made me more leery of like I would read Turtles and Usagi like a crossover with that possibly because it's gonna be good, but having some other franchise with this one, I'm just kind of like I don't know if I can do that at this current moment.
Fair.
I mean, you know, like
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Like it just kind of like shell shocks.
If you're watching this or listening to this, let Jen know you want us to cover Naruto Turtles. Reach out to him at Bard's Tavern on Instagram.
Thanks for the follow.
You're welcome.
I don't know. Jesus. No, I mean, there's probably other better crossovers that I feel we could have. That also, if you message Otaku Mike at Otaku Mike or the Otaku Mike on YouTube and or Instagram, and tell him to put up a poll of what other comics that may involve the Teenage Ninja Turtles with a crossover that you think is the best. Then maybe we can do a poll for that instead of just Naruto.
Well, there's the He-Man crossover. There's the 3 Batman crossovers.
Oh Jesus!
There's the Naruto crossover. And then there's the Godzilla crossover. That one kind of sucks.
I can see that.
And I think I might be missing one. I mean, Usagi has crossed over a couple times, so there's that. But yeah. Anyways, where can they find you, Jen?
You can find me at. Well, you already told them.
I know, but just tell them again.
You can find me at Bart's Tavern on Instagram and stuff, and we're getting closer to actually getting to YouTube, so that will be a thing at some point.
That's good. That's good to hear.
And then you can also find me everywhere that Otakuology is. So
you can also find me at Otakuology or the Otaku Mike on YouTube, where I talk all about my comic books and stuff. I just did one where I went to Aldi's, not Aldi's. Aldi's is a different store. Ollie's, the place where comic books go to die. I did a video on that. Go check it out. Yeah, it's a fun time, and hopefully you'll stick around for our other podcasts that we're doing on here, and give us some suggestions on what you would like us to cover on the podcast. Make sure to rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts. It helps people find our podcast. Or like us on YouTube and comment on our YouTube videos for the podcast episodes. It helps people find our podcast. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this one.
Heck yeah. And we will see you guys next Tuesday.